Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Fresh Crits of Melbourne. Wow, it is nice to be back behind the mic for another video. It's been a long time between drinks, but I've been busy. Yeah, I've been up and about. I've been in Sweden, riding the gravel bike. It was incredible. If you've got a gravel bike and you have about $2,000 for a flight, as well as accommodation's ridiculous over there. The corona's a joke. Definitely go and check it out because it is incredible gravel riding out there. And then made myself over to Maui, Hawaii, and rode up a volcano, which was probably, definitely the hardest thing I've ever done. It was sea level to 3,000 meters vertical in like, I think 40 Ks. It was a rough old time. The Americans were concerned locals when I almost fell off my bike at the very top. But enough of that today. Look at the view there. It is stunning. We're down at Phillip Island. I think it's a Grand Prix circuit for the Victorian State Road Race Championships. That's right. Pin numbers on for the first time in a very long time, and I'm hitting out with the Masters 1 to 3. Yes, you've got that right. Oz Cycling or Vic Cycling have decided to pair all the Masters 1 and 3 guys together and have a bit of a hit out. And you know what? After the calamity that was last year's for the crit titles, it actually wasn't too bad. You know, I went into it being like, okay, it's impossible to tell who's in Maz 1, it's impossible to tell who's in Maz 3 and Maz 2, obviously. So the best way to win the race and become first in your age group is just to, win the race. I obviously knew a few of the boys, so I kind of had a rough idea who I was riding specifically against, but it was just better off just to race together. All right, let's talk teams. So apart from the one Nostromo guy right in front of me, number 63, I think that Brendan Pearce from Hawthorn Cycling Club, the group was mixed up with two teams, two major players of this one. Team Hitter Racing, they're in the rear cam there. That's a really nice sort of Trinity sort of setup kit. And the other group, the other team on the road today was Leapers Cycling Academy, who are almost impossible to miss in their bright yellow jersey skin suit sort of thing. I'm sure I'll be able to point it out later on in this video. So as for the course, there wasn't really a breath of wind. It was a beautiful winter's morning / afternoon down here. It was a little bit chilly, but it was absolutely stunning. And I don't know if you can make it out in the camera, but the tarmac of this course was pristine. You could have run 120 PSI and not have a worry at all because it was such good condition. Now, in saying that, Alex Edney did have a puncture. There was actually a couple of punctures on this course, so it must have been some stuff on the road from the motorbikes or cars that have raced around here previously. Some of those guys got punctures. And actually, when I got home, I went for a ride the next day, rear wheel was flat. So lucky I didn't get that on the course. In terms of the course, pretty straightforward. There were a couple, it was pretty lumpy actually. So this is one of the major bergs coming into now, but it's short and very, very steep. Well, say steep, it's probably 6 to 7%. You punch up there and it only takes you a couple of pedal strokes before you're at the top, but you can put the guys behind you on a little bit of pressure there. And then, however, you go over the top, you crest the top and you cruise on down, nice and fast descent. It's pretty easy to get back on the wheel. So it's a bit of a silly spot to attack, to be completely honest. The other major course point that's probably worth pointing out is probably 1 kilometer from the finish, where it's a very slow sort of drag uphill and you can put the guys under a bit of pressure. They're having to put a bunch of watts in to keep on the wheel, and that's why I tended to find myself launching all my attacks. And on attacks, that's the only thing I tried today. It was a really quite defensive race, as normally these state and national titles are. Everybody's kind of just marking each other. No one wants to let anything get away, which suits me somewhat okay, because after racing with these guys before, I back myself in a sprint. Although, you know, in the off season, you don't know how people are going. A lot of the guys have gotten fitter and stronger naturally as they've perfected their training routines and eating better and got better equipment and all that kind of stuff. Everyone's gotten a hell of a lot stronger. But for those who know me, know that I do like to race aggressively. I think it's quite fun to try to launch attacks and split the group up. I think going to the line with, 4 people is much better than a bunch sprint. So I try to animate the race and try to launch little attacks, but I can't do this on my own. I'm not nearly strong enough, so I rely on me throwing an attack, a counter attack going over the top of me, and then I can counter attack off that. That's the best way, in my experience, to snap the elastic band. But to be completely honest, the legs weren't super fresh coming into this one, because literally 2 hours before this video took place, I was riding around at 300 plus watts in order to try to win the Masters 2 TT champs. So that was a good 30-minute full threshold session. So coming into this, yeah, it was not as fresh as I would like, but, you know, I spoke to a couple of the boys that have said, just stay with it, ride the moves, the legs will come fresh, and they definitely did. I think I should thank SulNutrition for the 200 milligrams of caffeine which I put in the bottles. It acted like rocket fuel and definitely helped me get over the line when I needed it. And if you're looking into some nutrition and you want to stick local and you want to get some good stuff at a great price, go and check out the link below where SulNutrition are going to give you, I think it's 10% off, so check that out in the link below. So this is that uphill drag that I'm talking about. You can see the car in the background there. You can see that it is quite a slow, sort of steady, to at most 3% drag, but it does go for a long time and it does stretch the legs. And talking about stretching the legs, that's exactly what I think that's Jeffrey Hunt from Geelong Cycling Club putting the watts down, followed very closely by Mitch from Hitter. Now, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Look at the little gap in the rear cam. The race has not been hard enough. It's too easy to close. Mitch is struggling on the wheel there, but I think he's just dieseling his way across. And unfortunately, you can see everyone in the rear cam snap straight onto his wheel. So as I sit in onto the draft, this is where I want to throw that next counter attack. But yeah, it's an open deck. Like, there's nowhere to hide here. It is very open, and it is quite difficult to try to split that group. So I go over the top, hardly an attack I would call it, but I'm trying to put the watts down, spiking up to 500 watts in order to split that elastic band. And I'm also mindful, yes, I could have thrown the kitchen sink at this attack, but there's still 22 Ks left. And if I throw the kitchen sink at it, and then someone bridges across and hits me, then I'm out the back door, I'm out the arse, and I'm never going to see the front again. So it is about measuring that effort. And unfortunately, I had a quick glance behind and realized everyone is well on my wheel, and there's no point continuing on with that. You may as well sit up, recover, and wait for the next move. With the magic of editing, I've skipped forward in this race to under 5 kilometers left. Yes, 1 lap remaining in this race. And to be honest, everyone had subscribed to the idea to keep everything together. There was no moves getting up the road. Yes, a few people have tried little things, but everything was going to be sticking close in this one. I'm talking about things that stick and subscribing. Oh, remember to hit that subscribe button, because there's a whole bunch of stuff coming up on the racing calendar. Coming in September, we have the Masters Nationals up in Wagga taking place. I'm going to throw some cameras on there and race against hopefully the New South Wales boys. Then after that, it's Amy's Grand Fondo, or it's the World, UCI World's Grand Fondo. That's coming up at Lawn, where I'll be doing the TT and the roadie. After that, we've got crits, we've got Dirty Warney, we've got Tour of Bright taking place. I'm going to be strapping cameras to everything and everyone, so make sure you hit that like button, but more importantly, subscribe, tell your friends, get involved, because there's going to be a hell of a lot more stuff coming out on the channel this season. And if there's anything that you want to see, if it's around training or gym workouts or anything like that, let me know in the comments and I'll do what I can to string something together. All right, we've just had the bell lap, 1 lap to go. We've got Parko on the front for Masters 2, driving the slowest cadence known to man, and he loves a slow cadence. I think this guy cruises around at 50 RPM, and a hidden fact that not many know about Parko is he's got the Oliver's Hill comm. Yep, he does. Go and check it out. Do your own research. He's got the comm. Mind you, he did take it out when it was like a 50-knot northerly, so it can be done, but he's got it. You can see on the right-hand side, that's Mr. Pink. He's probably one of the greatest journeymen or volunteers that we have. He's a bit of a legend in the CX scenes, and it's great to see him getting around on the road stuff as well. So everything is still together. Now, I have my head on a swivel. I want to know who's going to be launching up the road, who I need to mark, who I can jump across to, who I can motivate to bridge it back. So I need to watch out. And there it goes. That is Grant Sultar from Crane Tech, who I didn't mention before. Sorry, Ads. Ads and Grant are riding for Crane Tech. And there goes Grant from Masters 1, launching a huge flyer. And that sparked a response from Leapers Cycling Academy. There they are in the yellow kit. And right in front of me, that's Johnny Hyatt. And if there was a most improved medal that I could give out, Johnny would get it. He is a proper journeyman. He has come from C grade to B grade and is now mixing it up with the best at the front of the race. And he was doing a hell of a lot of work in this one. So big shout out for Johnny. He's going to be a big feature at the Nationals and the Grand Fondos coming up in the near future. Good on you, mate. Keep up the good work. But Grant's still away. He's got a good, I'm going to give that 50, 60 meters. It's probably the biggest gap we've seen all day. And here I am. I'm not going deep. That's not my job. I am not a diesel like some of those guys, but I do want to keep the pace high. I want to show that I am motivated to bring back the group. The way I explain it to others is I'm not there to close the gap straight away. I'm there to maintain the gap, and then we rely on those bigger guys to close the gap for us. So it's kind of a working sort of relationship. I'm not too sure if those bigger, stronger guys appreciate it, but whatever. What do you do, I suppose? What do you do? But unfortunately, Grant has blown up. We've been able to bring that back. And then again, once again, I'm swinging over to the left-hand side. I want to take the shortest line around this next corner. And if I park it on the right-hand side, it means I only have to look over one shoulder to see where everybody is. You see there, Adam Van Stockrum, he is right on my wheel. He is making sure to throw that next counter over the top of his teammate. And there goes Leapers Academy straight around the long way round in this course. And Adam's there just to spike up his watts a little bit, jump into the draft in order to keep that one in check. He sits up. He wants someone else to do the work. That leaves me. I'm like, okay, well, if you're not going to do it, I want to keep at the front of this bike race. I snap across to him, try to put everybody else under a bit of pressure and keep him marked. I know I can keep that quick snap sort of accelerations and do that for a good while before I really start to fatigue. But my main aim here is to stay at the front. We're so close to the finish, burn a couple of matches, keep everything together. And this is my Rico right there. 0 watts, spare, not even touching the pedals, coasting in. And what I didn't realize is, look at that rear cam, there's a gap. Now, if I'd known this, should I have sent one up the road and just gone all in and tried to stay away? Maybe. I don't know if it's in my kit bag, but it would have been fun to try something a little bit different. But instead, we've got to move on the left-hand side, on the slow part of the course. He's having to pedal a lot further in distance in order to get around the corners that I am. So on that straight bit of road, that's when I move across, sit in his draft, and once again, stay near the front of this bike race. Now, you correct me in the comments below. I would love to hear what you think, the viewers. Did I race this well? I don't think I did. I burnt too many matches. I was too arrogant staying right near the front. If I was a smart man, I would have been surfing the wheels in the peloton, I guess, and saving my legs for the sprint. But my concern with that was that if a move did go up the road and I wasn't near the front, it'd be even harder for me to close. So the best form of defense for me was attack, a little bit like the Western Bulldogs in the AFL at this present time. So I'm on the front here. We've got Johnny Hyatt on my rear cam, and this is when what I think is a lead out starts to take place. I'm not actually sure if it is a lead out, but we have Matthew Allen going a big effort on the front here for zero reason at all, unless it is to lead out Jonathan Hoare in the Peddler Giant kit here, number 70. So I'm just sitting in the wheel here, 600 meters to go, and I'm thinking, I know he can sprint. I know Jonathan Hoare can sprint. I've raced against him a few times at Southern Masters. I'm not too sure what grade he's in, but I know he can sprint. He's an ex-BMXer. They can sprint. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go bloody early. I'm going to rip it so early, 400 meters to go, and I launch an attack. I launch my sprint. I open it up, 1,200 watts. I give it maybe 5 seconds on the front, and I sit back down. I'm still out of the saddle. That's where I let Jonathan Hoare come across. I sit in his wheel. It's a double sprint. I've tried this before at Mansfield and it paid off, but I didn't realize how far we had to go. That's where John blows up. He starts cramping and I'm going head to head with Adam, another rider on the right. I throw on the line. I take first. in the bunch sprint. I didn't mention this before, but Pat O'Keefe was on a mad breakaway and he was able to secure first in Masters 1. I secured first in Masters 2. Take out the bunch sprint. Stoked with that effort. It hurt. It hurt way too much. Heart rate fully maxed out. And but the double sprint, it worked. I was so excited to try something a little bit different. And I'm definitely going to be using this when another opportunity. We're not too sure how it will play out, but it worked today, and that's the most important thing. Hope you liked that one, guys. It was a great race. It was great to race with all the Masters 1 and 3 guys. It was great to see everyone racing down again. I will hopefully see you this week because we've got John Holland handicap. And who thinks I should run cameras for that one? A handicap with cameras? Not sure about that, but if you like this one, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, throw me some comments down below. Have a great night. Ciao.